Shalom and good day, brothers and sisters. Coming up here to go over some more things that the Father wants us to know. And what the Father has been teaching me is that if you want to understand what is going on in the present and what is to come in the future, we have to go back to the past. But I like to say we have to go back to the beginning. For Father has revealed to us there are many biblical prophecies in the Old Covenant, but I'm going to be corrected today about saying the Old Covenant because I was going to my Bible that's more close to the Hebrew translations, and it taught me to say, instead of saying Old Covenant, the First Covenant. First Covenant. Okay? That is what Tanakh, or what people say Torah, I'm sorry, what the Old Testament represent is the Tanakh, okay? And it means first covenant. So Father's is telling us that we need to go back to the beginning. And if you want to understand the four beasts, and especially the fourth one of them, we have to go back to the beginning, okay? So in other words, what Father is saying is when you have knowledge that comes from heaven above, you will not fear these things that come upon the earth, but you will have understanding of what is coming, and the what is coming shall bring forth eternity. Okay? So what you see before you is a picture, because yes, we're going back to the beginning, known as Genesis chapter 15. And we're going to take a look at the sacrifices that Abraham made unto Yahuwah. For these sacrifices contained a heifer, a she-goat, a ram, a pigeon, and a turtle dove. So we see 5 items. Father's reminding me 5 represent grace. Grace. Okay? Also, what the Father's bringing out, he's telling us that we need to pay attention to the details. We need to ask him questions. Ask him, why do you want these particular things done? Because when we studied of these things that was done in Torah, as well was mentioned in the book of the prophets, as well as the kings, we will learn that they represent something. Again, remember what the Messiah said to the high priest Nicodemus. If you do not understand the earthly things, which is the milk, how shall you understand the heavenly things, which is the meat, known as the complex foods? For these two rams go in hand together, the heavens and the earth. Okay? So first I want to start with the title. Let's get this out of the way because I'll be forgetting y'all and be getting into the word. Y'all know how I do. And let me blow this up just a little bit so y'all can see this. For as you see, the Father has been sharing a lot of great things with us. Go to the channel so y'all can get caught up. There are some videos in the live video tab as well as videos in the video tab that you definitely want to get caught up, because everything the Father is having me to preach unto you or to prophesy unto you or to teach unto you, it is all connected, just like a circle. It is all connected, giving us understanding and help us see the bigger picture. So the title of this word today is Genesis chapter 15, the covenant of the pieces and the fourth beast kingdom. The covenant of the pieces and the fourth beast kingdom. We're going to understand what did that mean. what Abraham was doing, what does it symbolize? What does it represent? Or what is the mystery? Or what is the revelation? Okay? And how does it relate to the fourth beast kingdom that was given unto Daniel? Also, the high priest Esdras touched on it in the Apocrypha. And then we have the Apostle John to also prophesy unto us in Revelation. Okay? So according to the United States of America Public Law 97 to 80, that the King James Bible, which is the word of Yahuwah, the word of God, is his word. In other words, even the United States of America recognize the King James Bible as being the word of God. So we will be using the King James 1611. And also according to their laws as well, we have the right to share public we have the right to share copyright materials that would be used for the fair use. Okay? For this is for educational purposes only. So today I'm going to share a Hebrew word with you, uh, which is, what is the Hebrew word for Genesis? So we know Genesis means what? Beginnings. And the Hebrew word means, and I'm sorry, the Hebrew word for Genesis is Bereshit. Bereshit. And just to make sure I pronounce it correctly, I have here a device that would say it for me. Hold on, brothers and sisters. I got to take care of something. I see why it won't play. There we go. Bereshit. 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 So we have to go back to the beginnings. This is very important. Remember, if we have no what was, which is the beginnings, we have no foundation to understand the present, which is the what now, and to understand the future, which is the what is. Okay. For those who want to know how to spell it, it's Bereshit, or you may see it spelled BER. Sorry. You may see it spelled as BERESHITH. Okay. Bereshit. All right. And the picture that I'm sharing with you today comes from I thought it was from another site, but it comes from the nationally awarded museum, Learn Biblical History, biblicalhistorycenter.com. Okay, so this is where this image come from. And I have seen this image on another site, but let me check. This is the one. It also comes from Tor Moshe, First Bereshit, Genesis chapter 15, Messianic Toward TruthSeek.org. Okay, so let's get right into it because we have two writings to go into. Okay, let me give you also the biblical date of where we're at. Yes, the Father has left biblical dates. The only date that we do not have is the day and time of the coming of his Son, Yahusha HaMashiach. For that day is secret. Okay, that is the only thing that we don't have a date for. Okay. For those who are new, who do not understand Yahuwah's timeline, there are videos on the channel to give you understanding of his timeline. But it's very important that we know where we are for what we have Lord through his prophet, especially through Enoch, the high priest Ezra, even the Messiah, and many others. We learn there are biblical dates to let us know where we are at in our Father's timeline as well as his calendar. Remember, his timeline is different from the fourth beast timeline and the fourth beast calendar, so we have to convert these things. So we are in the second week from creation, for we know the first week has passed. That first week deals with our Father from heaven, from creating everything. And then on the seventh day in his time, which is the 7,000 year, that began from 6,001 to 7,000, if I'm looking at this correctly. Yes, it begins from 6,001 to 7,000. All right. So that was the day when our Father rested from his work, and his work was creation, which explains why we see which explains why we see man creating things in the earth, for we are made in our Father's image. So we are in the second week of creation known as Sabbathoth. Okay. We're on this second week. And we fall in day 13 of Yah's day, day 13. And when we convert it in the creation day, it start in the 12,001st year, and we're in the 13,000 year. When we convert that creation date to Adam date, it'll fall in day 8 of Adam. Okay, we are still in week 2 of creation. Okay, which is day 6. Okay, so we're in the 6th day of week 2 creation. And far as Adam time, we are in day 8 of Adam. All right. And day 8 of Adam starts from the 7,001st year to the 8,000 year. Okay. Far as Enoch's 10-week prophecy, we are in week 7. Week 7 of Enoch 10 weeks prophecy. And that starts on the 6,500 year of Adam, okay, and it ends in 7,499 year of Adam, which is also this time period is known as the common era. The common era dealing with the Romans timeline. Okay, so far as the Roman date, we are in the year of 2024 AD. And when I convert that into Adam's date, we are in the 7,492nd year. Now you understand why the Father is getting his servants to warn mankind it is time to get your house in order, for the kingdom of heaven is coming. Time is winding down. Okay. Far as the time that Ezra was given, like I said, Ezra was given a lot of mysteries, dealing with um, time or where he was at, and also where we are at now. We are in the two parts that are left now. The two parts that are left of the 12 and a half parts. So we are getting very close, okay, to the ending of the 12 and a half parts, and to watch that video to get that understanding, okay? So we'll stop for there, and now let's go to Genesis 15. Now, when we go to other sacred books or other books that are out here, it is very important that we read the King James 611 first and compare what these books have, because we know that the heathens have been manipulating some things. However, they cannot stop the truth of Yah through his precepts and through reading line upon line and using the 1611 as your foundational book will reveal his truth still. So the truth they cannot stop. For the spirit of Yah, which is spirit of God, which is Yahusha HaMashiach spirit, shall be your leader I'm sorry, shall be your leader. In other words, he's your shepherd. He is your king. He is your teacher. And therefore he shall lead and guide you in all things, for he is the spirit of truth. So the truth, the shield shall be revealed through him. Now, Genesis chapter 15 summary is this. Yahuwah encouraged Abram. Abram complaining for want of an heir. Yahuwah promised him a son and multiplying of his seed. Abram is justified by faith. Canaan is promised again and confirmed by a sign and a vision. Underline that. Father always give us a sign about his promise. He is still the same yesterday, now, and forever. He does not change. So notice here in this chapter summary that our father, Abraham, is given a promise by Yahuwah, and that promise is confirmed by a sign and a vision. So we are going to read the whole chapter because I realized that the whole chapter will give us understanding of this book that we're going to go into that is written by the Jewish. Okay. Verse 1. After these things, the word of Yahuwah came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. Underline that, brothers and sisters. Underline that. Yahuwah came unto Abram, our father, the father of the faithful. He is the father also of the righteous and the faithful. He came unto him in a vision. And notice what Yahuwah said unto him. He is his shield and he is his exceeding great reward. For you understand that mystery, he was reminding me of the dream that the Father had told unto me. He is our all, y'all. And if you have him, you have everything. You will not lack anything, and he will not forsake you. That is the greatest riches to have is him. You understand that mystery. Okay. Now there's a precept to that verse. It is Psalms chapter 16, verse 6. But let us keep reading. Verse 2. And Abram said and Abram said, Yahuwah what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is my heir. Verse 4. And behold, the word of Yahuwah came unto him. Underline that. So Yahusha HaMashiach, who is the living word, okay, came unto our father Abraham. And he said the following, saying, This shall not be thy heir, but he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thy heir. So we see that Abram is promised a child that will come from his loins. This is why we see the word what? Bowels. You probably want to look that up in Hebrew and get more understanding about the bowels. That's for your study and your extra time. But let us keep reading. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now towards heaven and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. So Abraham's seed is promised to be uncountable. They're going to be great number as the stars of the heaven. Verse 6. And he believed in Yahuwah, and he counted it to him for righteousness. Underline that. So Abraham is showing us what faith is. You ain't got to see it to come to pass. You believe it because the living word, which is Yahusha HaMashiach, told him so. So he had what? Faith. Faith. And because he had faith, Yahuwah counted unto him for what? Righteousness. Now you begin to understand Paul's writings that he wrote to the Romans. There's a video on the channel that talks about that, that goes in that mystery. So the same thing that Abraham is showing unto us through his testimonies, brothers and sisters, Israelites and Gentiles, he left that as an example unto us. So we should do the same as our father and our mother, Abraham and Sarah, for they are the father and the mother of the righteous and the faithful. Verse 7. And he said unto him, I am Yahuwah that brought thee out of Ur of Chaldees to give thee this land to inherit it. Oh, it just remind me what the father said unto the children of Israel. So it was our father who commanded our father Abraham and Sarah to come out what? Of the land which is known as Ur, that belonged to the what? The Chaldeans. And he brought him to a land that he promised that he would inherit it. Okay? Let us keep going. Verse 8. And he said, Yahuwah El, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? So he asked the father a question, which is, this is what I'm saying. We have to what? Pay attention and learn how to listen when the Father is speaking unto us. Because now I see Abraham asked a good question because he wanted to know how he's going to inherit the land of Canaan. Okay? So he asked the Father, how shall I know that I shall inherit it? Notice what the Father saying to him. Notice how the Father responded to him. And he said unto Abram, take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a pigeon. Now, brothers and sisters, you want to take your notes now. Highlight that verse. Write down the animals, and write down their characteristics. Take this time now to pause your screen to write this down. Now we're going in verse 10. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst. What it means, divided in the midst, he cut them in half, asunder, right? He cut them in 2 pieces, but he cut them in the middle. Very important to pay attention to detail, for Father is revealing something deep unto us. And divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. Very important. Highlight this verse. Pause your screen and write down the attributes of each of these animals that he sacrifices. So notice here, the animals that he cut in the middle of them, he laid their pieces against one another. But the birds divided he not. So we go back in verse 9, he does not divide the turtle dove, nor does he divide the young pigeon. Verse 11. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. Now, we talked about this word carcass, and you probably want to look up that word in the Hebrew when we talked about Luke chapter 17, I think it's verse 36. Check that video on the channel, for there's a mystery about the word carcasses that the Father wants us to understand. But in this particular verse, we see that when Abraham divided the animals, okay, he divided them in half, right? We see here that the fowls from heaven came down because they want to feast upon the carcass. And when we see the word fowls, we see an S, so we know it's more than one kind of bird coming down from the heavens, all right, to feast upon the carcasses, okay, the sacrifices that Abraham divided in half and that he laid against one another. But notice what Abraham does. Abram drove them away, so that would not take place. For these sacrifices was what? Sacred, holy, and they was being offered unto Yah. Verse 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horrid or great darkness fell upon him. Underline that. A horrid or great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thou seed shall be a stranger. Underline that. His seed is going to be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and they shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. So they're going to be oppressed for 400 years in a land that's not theirs, and they're going to be a stranger. This is future prophecy, my brothers and sisters. Future prophecy. For those who read the work of Josephus, the book of Jasper, we learn that the children of Israel, dealing with the book of Exodus in ancient Egypt, was only in ancient Egypt for 200 and some years. Okay? So we know that this prophecy here does not pertain to them. Now the precept for this verse of 13 is Acts chapter 7, verse 6. Now we're going to verse 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. So if you know the history of the transatlantic slave and the history of the what they call Native Americans, for you know that some of them were shipped to the European countries, and those who were on the continent of Africa were shipped into the North America, South America, and their islands. So they was going to a land that was not theirs, fulfilling biblical prophecies. Okay. It is very important that you study these histories of my people, then you'll understand the biblical prophecies that is giving in the first covenant, known as the Old Testament. Okay, so I'm going to read verse 14 again. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. So Abraham is getting the understanding what the father mean that he shall inherit the land. That remember that was his question. That's what his question. Okay, but we'll keep reading because this is not the complete answer. All right. So Father's letting Abraham know he's not going to go through these terrible things. He's going to live a peaceful life upon the earth. And when he give up the spirit, which is the breath that made him the living soul, he shall be buried in a good old age. That means he's going to live for a good time. And I believe he lived up to 175 years old, if I remember correctly. Okay. Now let's read verse 16. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Now, this verse here, there's a video on the channel that gives you the mystery because this is future prophecy. The iniquity of the Amorites has not come into their fullness yet, for as the Father has revealed to us when we read Deuteronomy chapter 5, dealing with the third and the fourth generation, read what he says unto them that we see here now we are in the third and fourth generation, for we know the 400 years represent a generation. We know, for example, such when they call my people African American or the Creole color black, we know that's not their correct ethnic background or their ethnicity, for they are the children of Israel. And we are in the fourth generation, for even America, which is Babylon, mystery Babylon that sits upon the beast, the whore that sits upon the beast. For they too has written in their laws or statutes, I think it's the H.R. Bill 1252, but check these things behind me. They have recognized my people being in this land for 400 years. So from 1619 to 2019, they have recognized my people being in this land for 400 years, and they have been afflicted for the 400 years. Okay, so we know that this is one of the countries that Yahuwah shall judge. All right. So, verse 16 is a biblical prophecy, and we are now in that fourth generation now. Okay. Again, there's a video on the channel that gives you the mystery about the iniquity of the Amorites. You definitely want to check that out. Now, verse 17, and it came to pass when the sun went down. So notice here, and it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. Highlight that. That's another characteristic. So when the sun went down and it was dark, it said, look, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp. When we know with burning lamp, that reminds me of menorah, okay? That passed between those pieces. So a smoking furnace, okay? And a burning lamp, or another word for burning lamp, it can be a lamp of fire. A lamp of fire that passed between those pieces. Okay? Verse 18. In that same day, so in that same day when Abraham offered these sacrifices, okay, Yahuwah made a covenant with Abraham. Underline that. So this covenant is not put away, brothers and sisters. There's many covenants made that are not put away. And unfortunately, the fourth beast kingdom has been teaching people wrong. Unfortunately, some of my brothers and sisters in Christianity has been fed doctrines that is not true. But hallelujah, praise be to Yah. He is revealing the truth of the fourth beast kingdom of the lies that they fed unto my brothers and sisters in Christianity. So they are learning that his covenants are not put away. They are learning that his laws are not put away. Okay? But Paul will expound on them, giving you the revelations, which is what the mysteries and the secrets, and also giving you the spiritual understanding of how we fulfill his laws. Okay? So, in this same day, the same day when Abraham offered the sacrifices, right? Yahuwah made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thou sea have I given this land from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. I'm going to pause here because this sentence still go on. So, as we see it in verse, going back up here, this is him answering Abraham's question. Notice in verse 8, Abraham asked, Whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And this is how Abraham is going to inherit through his seed that is to come. So this is why when you read Hebrews 11, you see how great Abraham's faith is. Even though Abraham won't live to see it, but Abraham believed that through his seed he shall inherit this land. Okay? So let me read this again. In the same day, Yahuwah made a covenant with Abraham, saying, Unto thou seed have I given this land. What is the land? The land of Canaan, which is the land of Yashrael, Israel. And this land will go from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. The Kenites and the Kenizzites and the Cadmonites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Amorites, underline Amorites, and the Canaanites and the Gishites and the Jebusite. So all the lands that these nations own, notice here, because we see in verse 18, is breaking down what lands that will be given unto the children of Israel. Now, to understand these nations and who their forefathers are, go back to Genesis 10. For from what I see here thus far, these are the children of Ham, and it comes to his son Canaan. Canaan. But also check out Genesis 10 to make sure I'm giving you the correct lineage. But from what I remember on the top of my head, these are the children of Ham that comes from his son Canaan. Okay. When you read the book of Jubilees, you will learn more about the details of how they came into on getting this land that the world today called the land of Canaan, which is the land of Palestine. But definitely read the book of Jubilees, for you will learn it actually was given unto the children of Shem, which were supposed to go to the children of Israel. Now, here are the side notes and the precepts for Genesis chapter 15. Okay. And there's one verse I am going to copy, but we can go to another text. Okay. Before we go, breaking this down. I'm looking for that verse to make sure I don't miss it. Okay, so I'll leave it right here. I know we'll come back to. Now we're going to the Jewish book. In the time past, I shared this book with you, and this is from a Jewish writer. And the title of this book is The Legend of the Jews by Louis Ginsburg. And it was written around 1909. And what this, I guess what they call it here is like a description of the book. It says that this is a massive collection of the Haggadah, the traditions which have grown up surrounding the biblical narrative. These stories and bit of layered detail are scattered throughout the Talmud and the Midrash, and the Midrash and other sources, including Or. In the 19th century, Ginsburg undertook the task of arranging the Haggadah in chronological order, and this series of volume was the result. Okay, so today we're going to go in chapter 5, dealing with our father Abraham. And the part we're going to go in is dealing with, I'm going to get to the title. I don't, sometimes y'all, I don't remember everything. I have to go to my sources. Let's see what we got here. Keep on going. Okay, we're getting near now. So this section we're going to go to is dealing with the covenant of the pieces. The covenant of the pieces. Now you will find this section to follow after the War of the Kings. Remember, Abraham had to go rescue Lot. So this is the particular passage that will follow after that. So we're going to read from beginning to end, okay? So it says, shortly after the war, Yahuwah revealed himself unto Abraham to soothe his conscience as to the spilling of innocent blood. For it was a scruple that gave him much anguish of spirit. Yahuwah assured him at the same time that he will cause pious men to arise among his descendants, who, like him himself, will be a shield unto their generation. Underline that because I'm thinking about what Maccabees. We think about Joshua. So it would be very interesting to go back and see who Abraham fought against and compare it to the days of Joshua, also, throughout the book of the Kings, as well as in the days of Maccabees. Because y'all, I'm beginning to take an interest in history now because I see how everything line up with the Bible, but it's teaching us some great deep things. But let us keep reading. So we see in Abraham's descendants, there'll be ones that's like him that will rise up, that would be a shield unto his generation. As a further distinction, Yahuwah gave him leave to ask what he would have, rare grace accord to none beside, except Jacob, Solomon, Ahaz, and the Messiah. So let's read this again. As a further distinction, Yahuwah gave him leave to ask what he would have. Now, and okay, which is what? Rare grace accord to none beside, except for Jacob, Solomon, Ahaz, and the Messiah. So we see that these forefathers, or when we look at the lineage of Abraham that comes from Isaac, they are also given what? Lead to ask what they will have. And with Jacob, I'm thinking about how he fought against the angel. I'm thinking about Solomon, how he asked for wisdom. Ahaz, I think that might be King Hezekiah, who asked for longer life. And then you have to go back and read the gospel for the Messiah to see what he asked. Wow. Anyway, Abraham spoke and said, O, O Yahuwah of the world, if in time to come my descendants, if in time to come my descendants should provoke thy wrath, it were better I remain childless. Mm, I just love how Abraham speak here. Okay. Lot, for the sake of whom I journey as far as Damascus, where Yahuwah was my protection, would be well pleased to be my heir. Moreover, I have read in the stars, Abraham, thou wilt beget no children. Thereupon Yahuwah raised Abraham above the vault of the skies. So he raised him above what? The heavens. Okay. That's what vault of the skies. And he said, thou art a prophet, not an astronomer. Do you see how the Father check ties Abraham? So in other words, we don't go into um divination. We don't go into what's the other word I'm thinking about? Divinations is like mediums, sorcery, or witchcraft. All right. So he let him know he is a prophet of the Most High. We don't have to do those things, for we are his mouthpiece, and the Spirit of Yah was give us prophecies, not by reading the heavens. Okay. Now, Abraham demanded no sign that he would be blessed with offspring. Without losing another word, he believed in Yahuwah. Do y'all hear that? This is why Abraham is so righteous before our Father. He believed in Yahuwah because of what? Because of what his word told unto him. Because of what Yahusha HaMashiach told unto him. And he was rewarded for his simple faith. Underline that. This is why I say, y'all, with the three things that the Father judges on, he judges on our heart, our faith, and our works. So, our faith is God. What we have to believe. We cannot doubt. We cannot go to the left nor to the right. We have to stay on that path of righteousness. So you have to have faith in his word. Also with the heart, we have to be in covenant through his son. His son is what bind us or join us to the Father, the Son, and wisdom, our mother. And from the heart, because the living word is in our heart, in our bowels, which is the center of our bodies, we shall start to produce the 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit. And this is what is going to get us into the kingdom of heaven. The heart, our faith, and the works are the reflection of the heart and our faith. Okay. For his simple faith by a share in this world and a share in the world to come as well. And besides, the redemption of Israel from the exile would take place as a recompense for his firm trust. So, in addition to that, okay, in addition to that, not only our father Abraham would be in the eternal kingdom, but notice what the Father give through Abraham: the redemption of Israel from the exile would take place as a recompense for his firm trust. That's why I say trust is a part of faith. So this is future prophecy is waiting to us, for we are scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth, as prophesied by all the prophets of Yah, as well as by our blessed Messiah. Okay. So this goes to Romans chapter 11. For soon the natural branches that was broken off will be grafted back into the olive tree. They would be connected to Yahusha Mashiach too. Next paragraph. But though he believed the promise made him with a full and abiding faith, he yet desired to know by what merit of his descendants will maintain themselves. Okay, he wanted to know who will follow the covenant, who will keep the covenant. Therefore, Yahuwah bade him bring him a sacrifice of 3 heifers, 3 she-goats, 3 rams, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon, thus indicating to Abraham the various sacrifices that should once be brought in the temple to atone for the sins of Israel and further his welfare. Now, temple, what was the temple at the time? We had the high priest Melchizedek. Remember what Abraham brought unto him? He brought him what? A tenth of the tithes, right? That he gained from that war, right? And a tent represent a remnant. And how I know this was through the prophet Isaiah. For those who have the King James 1611 Bible, it is revealed in a chapter summary what a remnant is. It is a tenth. So always a remnant will be preserved. This should help you to understand the mystery of the Shavuot harvest, or the mystery of the Shavuot offering, which the world today knows as the Pentecost offering. Okay? So notice that I know the wording here is different, but we're going to keep reading to see what they say and what we have in Genesis 15. Okay? So let us hold on and read this in entirety. Okay? So the temple at that time was dealing with the priest Melchizedek with the city of Salem, Salem, city of peace. And I believe that too was in the land of the Jebusites. Okay. So during that time of Abraham, he was the high priest. And as confirmed in the book of Hebrews, no one knew of his lineage, for he was preserved from the flood and taken into the heavens and then returned back to the earth for his divine purpose in the earth as high priest. Okay. You will find more about him through the writings of Enoch, I think first, second Enoch, between one of those two writings. Let us keep reading. But what will become of my descendants, asked Abraham, after the temple is destroyed? Do you see how Abraham knew these great divine things? For Abraham is a friend of Yah. And when you are a friend of Yah, the Father will share so many sacred things with you, for he loves you and he trusts you. Okay? So Yahuwah replied and said, if they read the order of sacrifice, if they read the order of sacrifices as they would be set down in the scriptures, I will account it unto them as though they had offered the sacrifices, and I will forgive all their sins. And Yahuwah continued and revealed to Abraham the course of Israel history and the history of the whole world. So this is proof, y'all. This is dealing with where we're at now. This is Genesis 15 is dealing with a future prophecy. Okay, where we're at now. So those who have access, I went to the pseudepigrapher.com website. It's under the Ledger of the Jews, dealing with where Abraham is, and we're under the subtitle of the Covenant of Pieces. You definitely want to print this out and add this to your collection. Okay, so it says here that, I'm going to read this again. And Yahuwah continued and revealed to Abraham the course of Israel history and the history of the whole world. The heifer of 3 years indicate, okay, so do y'all see how that was corrected? So the heifer of 3 years indicate the dominion of Babylon. Put that in your notes. The she-goat of 3 years stand for the empire of the Greeks. And we know the Greeks was not a nation of antiquity, meaning that it was not the oldest nation in the earth as compared to Genesis chapter 10. However, the Greeks came to be through my uncle and his descendants, who are my cousins or fellow brethren, Edom, Esau, mixing with the sons of Japheth, and they created the nation of the Greeks. And that is the same with the Romans. We know the Romans are Edom. How I know that? There's two distinct characteristics in the book of Revelation. When it talks about the dragon or the beast, it describes it as red, and then or crimson, which is scarlet. And when you go back to Genesis, like I said, always going back to what? The beginnings, you will learn that my uncle was red and hairy all over like a garment. So he had red hair upon his body. Okay. So this is how I know that he has went in covenant with the beast. However, there is a remnant of Edom that did not follow in the wickedness of their forefathers and fellow brethren's ways. So, brothers and sisters, I'm asking that you use wisdom. Just because you see someone with red hair, don't mean they are classified as Edom or Edomites. You have to trace their lineage through their forefathers. But when we see the red hair in the earth, that let us know they are still here today. They are still prevalent in the earth. And there is a mystery that the Father revealed to me about Edom and his characteristics. And if it's the Father will, I may share that with you. But for right now, in this video, we're going to focus on the revelations that that Abraham offered unto our father Yahuwah for Genesis 15. So Genesis 15 is proving that this does not pertain to ancient Egypt, okay? When the children of Israel was in ancient Egypt, this pertains to the Egypt of today. And on the channel, I had shared with y'all videos letting you know what is the Egypt of today, which confirm everything. So everything's lining up. Father's also reminded me, even in Revelation, he mentioned the word Egypt too there. So he's confirming that we are in the iron furnace of Egypt. That's another mystery. So just to make things straight to the point, remember, we are about saving souls, no matter what tribe they are from, whether they are Edom or Edomite, because even the tribe of Dan, even the tribe of Dan, sorry y'all, forget my tongue, Dan, has a judgment that was set against them. So they would not be partakers of the 144,000 Israelites. However, if a Danite will repent and follow the covenant that Yahushua Mashiach established for us, they can be a part of the bride. Okay. Then the other part of Dan will be partakers with the ones being grafted back into the olive tree. Like I said, it's many things that's in the Bible that many are not preaching, teaching, or prophesying unto you, giving you the correct interpretation. So I'm telling y'all, don't run with things. Always come in the whole volume of the book like our blessed Messiah has. So now let's get back on course. So we see here, this is dealing with a future prophecy, Genesis 15. For the Father revealed unto Abraham the course of the children of Israel history and the history of the whole world. Underline this. Very important. So this will be a part of the timeline, okay? The heifer of 3 years indicate the dominion of Babylon. The she-goat of 3 years stands for the empire of the Greeks. The ram of 3 years for the Medo-Persian power. The rule of Ishmael is represented by the ram, and Israel is the innocent dove. So now we are getting the breakdown of this. Okay, so I am going to copy this, copy and paste this. Okay, because we're still not finished. There's still more that has to be revealed. Get this a while to come up. Okay. So this is why it's so important that we take our time and read line upon line here. Legend of the Jews. And I'll come back, and do all the formatting. Okay. And I am going to put the link to that. All right. So now we get into the nitty gritty. Okay. So we know the Greek Empire, we know the Babylonian Empire has passed, and we know the Greek Empire has passed. Now, I now understand why I had a hard time saying this word. I know that as Persian Mede Kingdom, but they said Medo Persian power. We know that has passed. And here is in this particular book, it has revealed to us this is what the rule of Ishmael. For Ishmael is represented by a ram, okay? And then Israel is represented by the innocent dove. So when you do your research, you will learn that a turtle dove and a pigeon is in the same family. However, I put them two separate because we know right now the on two menorahs are the two what candlestick, right? That has not come as one candlestick. So we still got two separate branches. So we can put first menorah, and then we're gonna put second menorah. Okay. Only the when the Messiah return, when the when the Messiah return as King of Kings and Lord of Lords, through him shall they become one nation, one kingdom, and one menorah. Okay. Now let's go back. So let us keep reading. So we know that these three empires has passed now. We are in the fourth beast empire. Okay. And that fourth beast empire is Rome. So as prophesied in the book of Genesis, as well as what Hosea revealed unto us and what Ezra revealed unto us, that Edom is the world of end, and after his world end, Jacob is the kingdom or the world to come, and that kingdom will be eternal. For Jacob is the supplanter, that means he take the place one up. So through Jacob lineage, Yahusha HaMashiach shall take the place of Edom, and he shall be now known as the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And through Yahusha HaMashiach, our Messiah, that's how Jacob's kingdom shall be established in the earth. And through Jacob's kingdom is our Father's kingdom, which is the kingdom of heaven, the eternal kingdom. So let us keep reading. Abraham took these animals and divided them in the midst. So he divided the animals in half. Had he not done so, Israel would not have been able to resist the power of the four kingdoms. Now underline this. Now we saw right them mentioning Babylon, the empire of the Greeks, and the Persian Mede kingdom, which is what the rule of Ishmael. But we haven't seen anything mentioned of the fourth kingdom. Okay. And the part of the way this is written, we're going to keep reading further down to see if they say anything about the fourth kingdom, but we're going to keep on reading. But notice if Abraham was not obedient to offer these sacrifices unto Yahuwah as he instructed, Israel would not have been able to resist the power of the four kingdoms. This is very important. But the birds he divided not, see, birds with an S, to indicate that Israel will remain whole. Okay. They would be whole, healed, not destroyed. Okay. So Israel will remain whole. Their kingdom will not be ended. So I do want to put that in the notes, but let's pray I remember. And the birds of prey, now listen to this, and the birds of prey came down upon the carcasses, and Abraham drove them away. So we're going to see what this represents. Thus was announced the event of Messiah. This is done with the coming of the Messiah who will cut the heathens in pieces. So the birds of prey came down upon what? The carcasses of those carcasses that represent those kingdoms. So when the birds of prey, that means they come from heaven, right? They came down from heaven, represent the coming of the Messiah. This is dealing with the Matthew chapter 13, Revelation chapter 14, and Joel chapter 3. This is also dealing with Daniel's chapter 2, Daniel's chapter 7. This is dealing with when the Messiah comes with the heavens, and also he comes with those who was called, who was faithful and true. That's Revelation 17, y'all, and Revelation 19, where he would cut the heathens in pieces. But Abraham bade Messiah wait until the time appointed unto him. See, there's a time that's appointed, and only our Father in heaven knows. And as the Messianic time was known unto Abraham, so also the time of the resurrection of the dead. So as we see according to this text, that only Abraham know it according to this text. But even the angels don't know this, y'all. Okay. When he laid the halves of the pieces over against each other, the animals became alive again as the bird flew over them. Wow. Okay, let me copy this part before we go to the next part. This is gonna get interesting, y'all. So when you see the event of Messiah, this is dealing with the Messiah coming to reign upon the earth for the 1,000 years. This is fulfilling the prophecy as not we see in Genesis 15, but we see also in Daniel's, in the book of Daniel's, how he will end the fourth beast kingdom. Okay. So that's what that part deals with. Remember Revelation chapter 14, Revelation 17, 19, also Matthew 13 and Joel chapter 3 and Revelation 20. So get your notes and write that down. Go back to those chapters and reveal it. But the part here I'm seeing that is so interesting. He said, when he laid the halves of the pieces over against each other, the animals became alive again as the bird flew over them. And it said the bird. Let's keep reading if see if it elaborates on that. Okay. While he was preparing these sacrifices, a vision of great import was granted to Abraham. The sun snake, the sun snake, not snake, sank. Sorry, y'all. The sun sank, and a deep sleep fell upon him, and he beheld a smoking furnace. Then we get the name of this smoking furnace called what? Gehenna. Okay, so this smoking furnace called Gehenna, the furnace that Yahuwah prepares for the sinner. So this is dealing with Sheol and the eternal lake of fire. Wow. And he beheld a flaming torch, the revelation on Sinai, where all the people saw flaming torches. Now I got to go back and read that chapter. Okay. And he beheld the sacrifices to be brought by Israel, and a heart of great darkness fell upon him. And that heart of darkness that fell upon him represents the dominion of the four kingdoms. Y'all, this is good. Now we get understanding of Genesis 15. So that darkness that fell upon him represent the dominion of the four kingdoms, because these four kingdoms are under Satan's reign, y'all. That's what that darkness was tread. That's why when people tell you when the Father took them to Sheol, they felt this terrible darkness upon them. Wow, this is just lining up. Okay. And Yahuwah spake to him, Abraham, as long as thy children fulfill the two duties of studying the Torah and performing the service in the temple, the two visitations, Gehenna and alien rule, that means strangers, will be spare them. Okay, so what? Just to notice what here he said. And Yahuwah spake to Abraham, as long as thy children fulfill the two duties. These are the two duties, right? Of studying the Torah and performing the service in the temple, the two visitation or the two judgments, which are Gehenna and stranger rule. That means Satan's kingdom and the stranger rule will be spared them. Okay. So they would be spared. Okay. But if they neglect the two duties, they will have to suffer the two chastisement. Okay. Only thou may choose whether they shall be punished by means. Let me make sure I'm looking at my thing right. By means of Gehenna or by means of the dominion of the strangers. So this right here elaborates what Gehenna is. We know what Gehenna is dealing with hell, Sheol, the place of captivity. So he's giving Abraham a choice to choose. If they don't keep studying the Torah and perform the service in the temple, he has to pick what shall be their punishment. Okay? So he has to choose whether they would be punished by the angels in Sheol or whether they be punished by the dominion of the strangers. So that's what the alien rule represent, the Gentile nations. All the day long Abraham wavered until Yahuwah called unto him. How long wilt thou have? How long wilt thou halt between two opinions? Decide for one of the two, and let it, sorry y'all, and let it, I'm trying to see where I'm at, be for the dominion of the stranger. So y'all, the dominion of the stranger was the lesser chastisement of the two. I agree with the Father. Okay? Than by those wicked angels. Then Yahuwah made known to him the 400-year bondage of Israel in Egypt. Okay? Remember the 400-year bondage of Israel in Egypt. This is the Egypt of today. And on the channel, I have the proof and the evidence of what is the Egypt today. America. And behind America is a hidden one too. Uh-huh. For these two going hand in hand. So right now I'm going to say America, but there's another one. Okay, because these two are working hand in hand in suppressing the children of Israel. But the reason why I say America for right now, because when you look on the America $1 bill, remember one means to go in covenant with the beast. Okay, they have the pyramid, letting them know they are the house of bondage. And also, Father is telling me to tell you to read Revelation 18 as well and Revelations 11. Okay. For we are in the house of bondage. So the 40 years bondage of Israel shall be in the house of bondage known as Egypt, Mixraim, not the ancient Egypt, but the Egypt of today, y'all. Reckoning from the birth of Isaac, for unto Abraham himself was the promise given that he should go to his fathers in peace and feel not of the arrogance of the stranger oppressor. Okay? So this promise not only fell upon Abraham, but also to his son Isaac. At the same time, it was made known to Abraham, okay, that his father Terah would have a share in the world to come, for he had done penance for his sinful deeds. Furthermore, it was revealed to him that his son Ishmael would turn into the path of righteousness while yet his father was alive, and his grandson Esau would not begin his impious way of life until he himself has passed away. So Esau would not begin into what? Unrighteousness until his grandfather Abraham passed away. And as he received the promise of their deliverance together with the announcement of the slavery of his seed, which is what the children of Israel, in a land not theirs, so it was made known to him that Yahuwah would judge the four kingdoms and destroy them. So I am going to read this last sentence under the birth of Ishmael. It says here, the covenant of pieces, whereby the fortune of his descendants were revealed to Abraham, was made at a time when he was still childless. Okay, so I am going to copy this part because y'all, a lot was being revealed to give us understanding of Genesis chapter 15. Okay, so we see to elaborate on the bird that flew over them. So let me read this part again just to see if I can get anything at this time. I'm just reading this paragraph here, y'all. The only thing I can think that maybe what this particular verse is talking about when the bird flew over them, it has to be one of the doves. Thank you, Father, for reminding me about doves. Okay. So when we look at the dove, all right, the dove represent, and I'm going to do this. So it represent a bride, one who's beloved. And I'll put this right here. The beloved of Yah. And in the past, I had shared with y'all what the saint represents. Okay. So when we look at the children of Israel dealing with the house of Israel, I'm just writing this down, not horse, house. And we look at the house of Judah, they are the beloved of Yah. Why? For those who keep his covenant. Okay. Laws, statutes, judgment. And they are married to Yah. They are married to Yahuwah. Hosea, the prophet Hosea will give you more understanding about their relationship to our Father in heaven. But in order for them to be married to Yah, they too have to come through his son. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1 through 5 will reveal that mystery. For they went through the same steps as the bride of the Messiah and the 144,000 Israelites. Okay? So what I'm seeing with that sentence at this time of what I'm getting so far, that is dealing with um one of these birds, which is the dove, and the dove represent the beloved of Yah, also the wife. And how I know this is true, Sean, the Song of Solomon taught me these things. Okay, when I read his writings, how he described the bride of the Messiah. Okay, I'm trying to let me see, can I bring this back? So, okay, so when we look at 4 and 5 represent the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Remember, they don't become whole or one until the Messiah comes back. Okay, you got to understand the prophecy that was given unto Solomon when he broke the covenant as going into sorcery and witchcraft. Okay, about the kingdoms. All right. Um, that was another thing that the Father want me to bring out unto you. Also, Jeremiah chapter 3 will also confirm that the children of Israel is Yahuwah's wife. They are his bride. Now, when we look at the saints, which is inclusive of the 144,000 Israelites, they are the wife of the Messiah. So the son does as his father do for his inheritance of giving up his life and not having an heir to carry on his name in the earth. Again, you got to know Torah. That is his reward. He is given a bride that would have his name. Okay. Like father, like son, when you understand these mysteries. Okay. So that's what I'm getting. So one of these birds flew over the animals. And when it flew over the animals became whole again. Okay. They became alive. Okay. Also, we see here, this is very important, when we see a smoking furnace, let's highlight this area, or what we read in Genesis 15. Now we're getting understanding as that smoking furnace. Let me see how Genesis 15 worded it. So we know the great Herod of darkness was dealing with the 4 kingdoms that would come upon the earth. We see that the children of Israel shall be afflicted into the same kingdom as was in the past, which is of what? The house of bondage, which is Egypt for 400 years. We also see that when the sun went down and it was dark, again, it represent what? Satan kingdom, the kingdom of darkness. For this world is the world of darkness. Okay. And when we look at verse 17, we see a smoky furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. So how you would look at it, one piece would be on the left side, the other piece would be on the right side, and they'd be facing each other. And as we see here, a smoky furnace. And a furnace is like an oven. Okay. That's how I know it's Sheol, hell. And then we know hell or Sheol will be cast into the turn like a fire. Okay. The place of captivity. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That is the place of captivity. How I know this, when the Messiah went down to Sheol on the V14th, um, he set the captives free, which is our father Adam, and those who came after Adam that was in Abraham's bosom. He set them free out of Sheol on the V16th day, the same day of the sheaf-weight offering, the same day when the Messiah resurrected from the grave with the saints, the same day when we have the manna to cease in the days of Joshua. That's a V16, and the work of Josephus will confirm that too. Okay, so the smoking furnace represent Gehenna, which is Sheol, and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. So we have these pieces that split in half. These kingdoms are split in half, one on one side and the other on the other side, facing each other. That means what go against. And the word of Yahuwah going to come between those kingdoms, destroying them. For he is what? When he opened his mouth, a flaming sword shall come out, He is fire, and we know this world shall be destroyed by fire. Okay. So when we go back to the legend of the Jews, that is confirming what that means. Okay. So again, a smoking furnace, which is Gehenna, the furnace that Yahuwah prepares for sinners. So what's this place that sinners go, the unrighteous? Sheol. And then Sheol gonna be cast into what? The eternal lake of fire. And he beheld a flaming torch. The revelation on Sinai. So we need to go back to Acts, to Exodus and study about the flaming torch. Okay, where all the people saw flaming torches, and he beheld the sacrifices to be brought by Israel, and a heart of great darkness fell upon him, the dominion of the four kingdoms. Okay, so what I see in this book, it don't go much into the fourth beast, which is the fourth kingdom. Okay, but it's going to give us some information about it. Okay, so let's see here. So as we see in the past, we had the Greeks to rule over the children of Israel, as well as we had the Babylonians, we have the Persian Medes, and we have the Greeks to rule over the children of Israel. And the kingdom that we're in now is Rome. Okay, that are ruling over the children of Israel, and they are Gentiles and they are strangers. Another word is what? Alien. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. So yeah, I would definitely print out that chapter when you go to that link, print it out. And for some reason, let me go to Exodus, Sinai, and see what I can find. I'm trying to think. Bear with me, y'all, because I know the Mount of Sinai was on flames. Fire was upon it. Because even today, what they found in the land of Arabia, they found Mount Sinai and they found it to have a burnt looking appearance. Okay, we need to go to Exodus chapter 19, and we're going to look at verse 18 to 21. Exodus chapter 19, chapter summary says this: the people came to Sinai, Yahuwah's message by Moses unto the people out of the mount. The people answered, return again. The people are prepared against the third day. The mountain must not be touched. The fearful presence of Yahuwah upon the mount. Okay. So the book of Exodus is a good chapter to go back and review to understand these mysteries that's revealed in Genesis chapter 15. Okay, so we'll start at verse 16. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning. So this is the time when the Father came to visit the children of Israel when they came out of the land of Egypt in the wilderness of Sinai, in the wilderness of Sin, or the wilderness of Sinai, where the Mount Sinai is. Okay, that they were that there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud upon the mount. Thick cloud, right? And the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And Moshe, brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with Yahuwah, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke. Underline that. So, and Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke because Yahuwah descended upon it in fire. Underline that. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace. Underline that, y'all. And the whole mount quake greatly. Wow. So now we can understand about this smoke. Now, the precept for this verse is Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 12. Okay? So the smoke thereof that ascended up as the smoke of a furnace. So this smoke looked like it came out of a furnace, y'all. Do you know when you open up a oven furnace and that smoke come out, it is hot and it's kind of like a grayish smoke. Wow. So this is letting us know this is representing the wrath of Yah. Because we know by the scriptures, like Peter and the rest of them told us that he's not going to come by water, he's going to come by fire. Because you understand, if you understand anything about fire, fire will purify, it will destroy those who are sinners, but it will purify the righteous, removing their impurities, their sins, their transgressions. Okay. And when the voice of the trumpet sound loud and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and Yahuwah answered him by a voice. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount, and Yahuwah called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And Yahuwah said to Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. Why? Because that fire going to take them out. And let the priests also which come near to the Lord sanctify themselves, lest the Lord, lest Yahuwah break forth upon them. So notice the priest had to be what? Sanctified. That means to be holy, to be cleansed, to be pure. In order to come near him, the priest had to be sanctified. And Moses said unto Yahuwah, The people cannot come up to the mount, for thou chargest us, saying, Set bounds about the mount and sanctify it. And Yahuwah said unto him, Away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee. But let not the priests and the people break through to come up upon the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people and spake with them. Here are the side notes for chapter 19. Take this time to pause your screen. But now we get into understanding of what the smoke is. So right here, verse 18, highlight that in your Bible. For Genesis 15, it said Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke. Okay, because the smoke comes from what? Yahuwah. Because Yahuwah descended upon it in fire. So he came upon the Mount Sinai in fire, and because he did that, it produced what? A smoke. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace. And the mount quaked greatly. Let me pause that, y'all. I'm gonna pause it. I'll be right back. I'm gonna give y'all an example. So I have some examples for y'all here. This was a real good example. You see the fire, and because there's fire, there will be smoke, and it's kind of like a grayish appearance. And as you get close to the source of the fire, y'all, it's just like the sun. The closer you get to it, it's gonna burn you up. That heat and that smoke is no joke. Even that smoke will cause you not to breathe. Because a lot of times people who die in fires, a lot of time it's the smoke that take them out first. Because the smoke is what? CO2. It's not oxygen, it's CO2. So it's going to smother your lungs and prevent oxygen from getting in your bloodstream for your body to live, because we need oxygen, which is the breath that give us what? Life. Very interesting. This picture is from the aluminum smelter and its fiery furnace with smoke billowing. That's dreamstime.com website. Wow. Last thing we're going to go to is the book of Revelations. I think we need to go to 17 because 17 is going to show you the end of the kingdom. Wow, we just learned something great today. So we need to put that in our notes too before I leave from here. Exodus 19:17. I mean 18. We're going to put that in our notes. For Father is revealing something great today. Mm, mm, mm. Thank you, Father, for that revelation on Sinai. Do y'all see how the Father be speaking to us through earthly things, and we be missing these mysteries and revelations? Mm, but it's deep. Okay, so bear with me, y'all. I think I need to go to 17. I think it's 17 that's really going to sum it up when he's dealing with the fourth beast um kingdom. Okay, because the fourth beast has consumed the other empires. Okay, and this is why we can see some of everything in this kingdom, from the ways of Nimrod to the ways of the Babylonians to the ways of the Greeks to the ways of the Persian Medes. We see some of everything in this kingdom that it has consumed the other kingdoms. So he has client kings. Okay, it's either going to be 17 or 19. So bear with me, y'all, while I try to find it. They can start in verse 14, then with the victory of the Lamb. Okay, that's not exactly it, but it's dealing with verse 14 when the lamb shall have victory over the fourth beast. Okay, but we had to go with 19. Let me go with 19 then. And in the title, I am going to add to the title proof of the 400 years. Again, we have to believe what the word of Yah tell us and disregard what the naysayers say. So in Revelation 19, pause the screen for the chapter summary. So the chapter summary revealed that after Messiah marries his wife, he did go to war, okay, with the fourth beast. So we're gonna go down. Well, this is one part, but the part that I'm looking for, I want to find it. But here's one part of it. When we look at Revelation chapter 19, you have to read the whole chapter 19 together. But notice what the Lamb does. Okay. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. So the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies who made war against Yahusha HaMashiach and his army, the hosts of heaven, the 144, verse 19. Notice what happened. Verse 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet, that is the son of perdition, that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that have received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These both was cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. That is Gehenna. And the remnant was slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. Now, the sword that proceeded out of his mouth is fire, and we know that the word of Yah, words are fire. And I'm trying to remember the verse. Let me see what I can find it. For I know Hebrews chapter 4 will elaborate too, but I'm trying to find it in Revelations because I remember it. I want you to read Hebrews chapter 4. It's in 19:15. So we read, okay, let me go higher then. I didn't read higher enough. That's what it was. So it's in Revelations chapter 19:15. Okay. So it goes on with Hebrews chapter 4 too as well. For when you read verse 13, you notice that Yahusha HaMashiach is called the word of Yah. So notice what take place. Okay. Verse 14, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahuwah. Okay, so we know that that sword that goes out his mouth is fire, y'all. It's fire. So what I'm going to do, if I can find something that directly says that, but I do know that sword that comes out his mouth, y'all, is fire. For the word is fire. Okay. I'm going to see if I can find any other scriptures. And if I find any other scriptures, y'all, I'm going to get y'all to I'm going to list it in the video description box. Okay. So in this lesson today, we learned the mystery of Genesis chapter 15, and we learned that it's dealing with the time that we're in now. It is not dealing with um, specifically with ancient Egypt. I'm aware ancient Egypt was a stranger and they did oppress the children of Israel, but they did not do it for 400 years. So we are in the time of the third and fourth generation. For America, United States has recognized my people of being in this land that they brought over from the continent of Africa for 400 years, from 1619 to 2019. And we've been seeing a lot of things popping off, a lot of plagues that's come upon the earth. And what the Father had me to share with you about the plagues of Egypt, we're now understanding why we're seeing the plagues of Egypt. If you don't understand, there's a video on the channel that goes into that. Because y'all, I'm telling y'all, it's so much being revealed in Torah. So much. So this confirmed, this is a book written by a Jewish person. And they too have knowledge of these things. Okay? Very important to know. So take this time to get your notes. You know what I'm saying? Get your notes. Because now everything is aligning up to Yah's timeline. Everything. Genesis 15, Daniel 2, Daniel 7, Daniel 11, Daniel 12. In the Apocrypha. Trying to think where to start at. Read the second book of Ezra. Then look at what the Messiah says. Also look at what Paul wrote in like Romans 11, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Then read the whole book of Revelation. Y'all, it's so much being revealed unto us. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this revelation. I am going to change the title. Proof of the 400-year prophecy will be added to this title. Wow. I hope y'all enjoyed this word. I had enjoyed this word. But now we got the understanding. And if anything else that the Father revealed unto me, I will come back up here and share. But there is another word that He wants me to bring out that relates to y'all's timeline. Continue, my brothers, to preach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, for it's truly at hand. Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10 and baptize them in the water and in the spirit. Now, if you have no one to baptize you, brother and sister, Israelite or Gentile, speaking to everyone on the earth who is of Adam and Noah, okay, lineage. If you have no one, you can baptize yourself. Here's where you exercise faith with words. For the water, the heavens, and the earth can be a witness on your behalf and testify to the Father of you entering into the renewed covenant that our blessed Messiah established for us. And the same is with the Holy Spirit baptism. If you have no apostle near you to give you the Holy Spirit baptism, then you can ask our Father in heaven in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, and He will give it unto you according to your heart, your faith, and your words. Love you all, and shalom.